everybody, we are back and already getting into the game. They get started super fast, but here we go. We're gonna do Void and GrandpaRoji here in the semifinals, and just as we get started, we're gonna heat things up a little bit and do a little bit of a giveaway again. So all right, I'm giving you another shot, Boulevard. I'm giving you another shot. What do we got?
I'm going to channel my inner Blevins. Chat, type a 1 if you want to enter the giveaway, and type a 2 if you don't.
All right, just the number 1?
Just the number 1.
Okay, the number 1. There we go. We're good to go. Everybody go ahead. Enter the giveaway. 1's in chat, folks. 1's in chat.
1 if you want to enter the giveaway, 2 if you don't. It's that simple. Just type the number 1, hit enter.
Blevins
Couldn't
here.
be easier.
Blevins here in spirit. Blevins here in spirit, as per usual. All right. So come to the cold off top. So we got Thralls and good old Poppy Zed. We've seen Poppy Zed a lot. One of the more popular. Actually, right here, both these decks tied for the most popular decks in the tournament. So,
yep.
See
and things are looking pretty good for GrandpaRoji here.
Yep. Turn 4. We got 2 Thralls. Both already almost halfway down, and we're going to curve out into Talia on turn 5. Things are looking
good for Roji, who is currently trying to push 13 damage.
Well, no, all right, but in Void's case, things, I mean, generally, this is a decent start for Thralls.
Yeah,
having all these Thralls, but
he doesn't have any clock hands or timer bottles.
Chump blockers.
Well, not just as chump blockers, but these Thralls, they're not hatching. We have 1 acceleration card in hand. These are not hatching anytime soon unless we can find a decent top deck. But in the meantime, you need to deal with Zed Poppy, 2 Rangers Resolve, 2 Sharp Sights.
And I'm actually curious, too. So with how fast of a start that Grandpa got off to, you know, we've mentioned how these are 2 of the most popular decks that have been played. I can't imagine this matchup. This is the first time this matchup's happened. This has probably happened all day. I mean, seemingly, I feel like the Rally deck probably has the advantage versus Thralls almost every single time. Because even if Thralls hits the nuts, I feel like it's still pretty easy for Roji's deck to close things out before all the Thralls start to hit the board.
I would imagine most of it comes down to Avalanches and Ravines lining up with protection spells for the elusive Rally player. But Roji off to an absolutely phenomenal start. No great plays here from Void, still at least 2 rounds away from getting out a Thrall. Unless the Preservarian picks up something real nice for us. But even with these imagined possibilities, we're still going to be 1 away on the next turn. So if we can find I think they only play 2 imagined possibilities, so it's got to be something real nice. But Roji is looking to end the game pretty immediately.
All right, everybody. Last chance. 1's in chat to get entered for the giveaway. 500 coins as Roji closes things out for game 1.
Turn 6. It's already over. Yeah, we didn't think the contest was going to run for the entirety of game number 1.
But
That's just the way it goes sometimes.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Am I allowed to use that twice in 1 tournament? Probably not.
I mean, you already did.
I'm going to veto myself on that. I don't think I should have said that. All right, here we go. We're going to run it. Let's see who wins as we get into game 2. Rusticals. Or is it actually Rusticiles? I'm very curious how to pronounce that. But congratulations. 500 coins. Don't forget, DM me with your Riot account number with the hashtag, your email associated with the account, as well as the region that you are in, and we can ship you the 500 coins.
So Void, once again, Thrall on 1, has a decent amount of Thrall building with these Lysandres, has the promising future. A little light on the countdown, but honestly, it's more than we had last game. You opened your start menu, and you know how sometimes it has a little preview of all your pictures? I just saw some selfie where you're like just open mouth staring at the camera. And it took I was trying to look at the opponent's hand, and I get that.
Also, hey, there's a different one.
Anyway, Mirai Warden pushing an insane amount of damage with the Shadow Fiend. Already down to 11 on Void here on turn number 3.
Yeah, and again, so last game, like I mentioned, it was a good start generally, right? When you're able to get down multiple Thralls and they, you know, by turn 4 or 5 are already halfway there, it feels good. But when you don't have, either your opponent has too much aggression, which we saw last game, or you don't have ways to continue the countdowns like you were just mentioning, you just kind of, you're done. You sputter out and you can't really do much, and then your opponent just has free reign to kind of just attack and possibly close things out. And we have Roji already getting Void down to 10. I mean, we're already halfway to victory, and we're still continuing the assault this turn.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend is just built like that. Sometimes you want the unit to stick around. Sometimes that damage looks really nice. And in the case of Roji here, I think this damage looks really nice as Void continues to basically just ignore everything that Roji is doing and, not going for the Avalanche, instead taking the Promising Future onto the Thrall. Just one more countdown spell away from getting the Lysandra leveled, getting the Tough Nexus, which does a lot. Doza, do you know, because I would assume that this is how this works, if Warning Shot deals 0 damage to the Nexus, that doesn't activate Plunder for the turn, right?
I see. That seems like a very obvious question to me, but
so the only reason I ask is because a Zoe striking a Tough Nexus still gets the strike effect off. Now, obviously, strike effects and Plunder are different.
Yeah, I think that's because she's still actively striking.
My assumption is that you didn't deal damage to the Nexus, so you will not have your Plunder effects activated. But these decks never really existed at the same time. Plunder and sort of the old Shadow Isle, Freljord, Watcher control. So it's not an interaction that I've actually seen, but my assumption is definitely that you will not get your Plunder proc.
So here's the problem. Great. We have a Thrall. Congratulations.
We have 2 Thralls.
We have 2 Thralls because of the Promising Future.
Yeah.
But we might still just be able to close out the game with only 6 health left from Void. Although we do have mana to get down to Lysandra this turn, like you said. That Tough Nexus might actually be enough to keep this in. Yeah, this is insane.
Especially because the Tough Nexus not letting us plunder means we are stuck on 6 mana Monster Harpoon.
Well, and more importantly, we're going to get an Ice Shard at the round start. So that means the keg that Gangplank generated isn't actually going to stick around. Not to mention it takes care of the Warden that's kind of just chilling there as another attacker to go wide. So, I mean, wow. This Lysandra level 2 is actually completely swinging the game in Void's favor. I'm not going to lie. I thought Roji was going to close this out very cleanly, very quickly. And all it takes is one Promising Future. I mean, we've seen this time and time again from Thralls, yesterday and today. If you're able to successfully get off one of those Promising Futures, just one, that's already such a huge tempo swing because of the 8/8, because of the double 8/8 Thralls coming out, that I guess it's just too much for most decks to come back from.
Yeah, and we're seeing an open attack from Roji. No kill onto the Lysandra happening first. We're not like Sejuaniing, we're not Monster Harpooning, we're just going in for the open attack, which is currently poised to deal 0 damage if Void wants it that way. You can line up the blocks. The Crackshot Corsair, I think, will actually deal 1 damage, so we'll go down to 5 thanks to the keg, and then, of course, the attack will deal 0.
All right, pulling it back. I do... Sejuani onto Lysandra seems good, but, I mean, you're exhausting all your mana, which is always, kind of a risk. This does allow also for Kindly Tavern Keeper to come down, which is nice. I mean, that's not only a 3/3 that can block, but also now puts us, I think, pretty cleanly out of any sort of lethal combined with Lysandra.
Yeah, and I don't think Roji is surviving this this Thrall onslaught on the following turn.
Yeah. I think you're right. Lysandra does die here. Gangplank gets blocked by a Thrall. And otherwise, I mean, the Ice Shard takes care, like I mentioned, the Mirai Warden. So I think we take, what, maybe 2 damage and all is said and done?
Yeah, actually, if you Ice Shard, I think you take 0.
Well, the Crackshot Corsair comes in as well as the... Oh, no, the ability actually is... So it's only 1, I think. Because the ability procs before Sejuani kills.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying if you Ice Shard, you take 0 because you get rid of the keg. Crackshot pings onto a Tough Nexus. Sejuani exactly kills Lysandra. You don't take any damage because of the Ice Shard on the Tough Nexus. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure Void sits pretty at 9 here, as well as clearing out that Mirai Warden. And I don't see Roji living.
Yeah, the Monster Harpoon not going to deal 7 damage, unfortunately. I mean, it takes down some pretty big targets, but Thralls are just a bit too big. Maybe we live with Fury of the... No, we don't even live with Fury of the North, actually. Never mind. That's going to be game. And Void, tying it up.
These have been... First game ends on turn 6. Second game ends on turn 7. I've got a microscope set on turn 8 here. See if we can just continue ramping this up.
Well,
One more turn added to each game.
We'll see what the matchup ends up being. This should be interesting.
And, of course, these players are playing for a spot in the finals. Trying to see who's on the other side.
Did the other side of the bracket finish yet, or?
That is what I am checking, but I have to refresh.
All right, Plunder versus Feel the Rush. I think we saw this matchup once in day one. We actually haven't seen too much Feel the Rush, I think, since like round 1 or 2. I think we saw the deck.
What was that?
Feel the Rush. I mean, this is Feel the Rush versus Plunder. I don't think we saw Feel the Rush. I think we saw it like round 1 or 2, and then we didn't see it at all the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, M-Tux is running it, but I think it was banned against him every time we saw him play.
So let's see if GrandpaRoji can deal with the Feel the Rush deck. Maybe we get a Feel the Rush of our own. We all these Plunder decks we've been seeing, haven't really seen too many of them drawing the 1-of Feel the Rush, which makes sense. It is a 1-of, so there's atrocity.
No, instead we get our opponent's Ruination. I mean, you could have nabbed a Feel the Rush.
Yeah, right.
That would have been cool if we finally see the game deck cast the Feel the Rush and it's not even their own.
And there's already a Feel the Rush in Void's hand, so this is looking, especially with this Blighted Ravine clearing the Jagged Butcher. I mean, this is looking really good for Void to get started here. I think we're going to be making it to a pretty clean Feel the Rush turn. All right, still committing the Yordle Grifter here, so that would represent
caring about the cost reduction rather than the health on the Grifter. Not sure that's the right choice, but you do want to stay on board as much as possible, especially if the plan is to just run out Gangplank here.
Ooh. All right, the only way we get Betty Croker down is by playing the Jagged Butcher first as well, which is just not... I mean, yeah, any development here from GrandpaRoji is just not that great. Gangplank is probably your only bet to stick something, but... we see the Vengeance as well from Void. I mean, there's a lot of options for Void here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the rough situation that Feel the Rush consistently puts you in, right? If you open attack and get Vile Feasted, boy, do you feel dumb.
Yep.
If you play a unit and get Avalanche, boy, do you feel dumb.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, any decision is not optimal, basically, in this case. And yeah, I do think Gangplank gives you the best chance to deal damage this turn, at least. Which you have to do, right? If you're not putting pressure on a deck like this, on one of these kind of more late game control decks, you're not going to win. So you have to do what's going to net you the most damage in one turn. I do think it's Gangplank. It does get the auto Vengeance right there, and then this should just be a clean 3 damage coming in from Roji with the Yordle Grifter. And you get the proc for the turn, right? The Plunder proc to level your champion. So
yeah, and they actually are leveled. Managed to consistently ping 1 through 5 now, do have them leveled on curve, but no champions in sight. And we see this a lot, right? Generally, if you do a very good job of leveling your champions, you just don't find them.
But now we get a Trundle to get through, so he's a pretty beefy blocker. Gonna be able to deal with pretty much everything in the hand of Roji right now. Roji does... that Ruination actually might keep Roji in this game, just because after Feel the Rush does get played, it's pretty much gonna instantly get ruinated. However, Trendemir's a thing, so there's that.
Astute observation.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. But this is what Feel the Rush does in this matchup. That's why it's so difficult for Plunder.
Yeah, Roji's just going wide, which is the best that they can do. And there is no Withering Wail currently available for Void, which is really the only punish for something like this. We're just going really wide on the turn where the box mana is not available. And Roji's still very much in this game, right?
Yeah. All right, that's not a Withering Wail, so this is going to represent a fair amount of damage coming in.
Man, do you have to flash freeze?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, you would
definitely not going to love doing that, but you cannot afford to fall that low, especially because while there is healing in the deck, that healing is also tied to your sweepers, which we've already established you have not drawn yet.
Yeah, and if we play Bladed Ravine, that's going to kill our...
It's not going to kill Trundle.
Oh, no, Trundle regenerates first. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. You regen at end of turn.
Yep.
Countdown start a turn. All that good stuff. But that is going to completely wipe the board of Roji, as well as put Void up to a relatively healthy 7.
3 Sisters.
And from here, I think this is where Void really starts to just close out the game in terms of not letting Roji stick anything to the board. No champions are really going to be coming through. This would have been like the one opportunity, I think, for Void to like maybe stick a gangplank and be like, okay, yeah, let's see what we can do here. Because Void would then have to use the Three Sisters. It doesn't deal with it permanently. Maybe you can sneak something through, but given the hand states of each player, it's looking really, really good for Void.
Yeah, this is looking like a juicy box here too. I mean, both, yeah, the Icevale Archer and Zap going to go down here. We're going to still be able to bank 3 spell mana pretty safely into turn 9, which means we could play Field of Rush next turn. If we even need to. I mean, at this point, we have a pretty well-established field. We're not too concerned about anything Roji does. Obviously, we want Roji to commit something first.
All right, hold on. Let's see what this main secret conservator has in store for us, Doza. Because if it is a Feel the Rush, Sejuani is leveled, and we do have a warning shot in hand.
It is not. Oh, what is that?
It is Dawning Shadow.
Wait, that kills a unit though. So,
but it's slow speed.
Yeah. But hear me out. We have a Ruination to kill both of them, and then we have that to kill the follow-up Tryndamere.
Yeah, except, so check it. Void feels the rush. You ruinate him. He open attacks with that Tryndamere. You go to Dawning Shadow it. He atrocities.
Atrocity is a thing. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it is in the hand.
It is in the hand. See, and this is what feels so bad with Roji too, because this seems like such a great Ruination. This feels great, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. It doesn't even feel great though. You're still taking 11 damage this turn.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean there's no attack token.
Or sorry, next turn. Next turn you're taking 11 damage.
Next turn, because it's slow, like you mentioned. What is it? What's the actual name again? Is it Dawning Shadows or is it?
It's either Dawning Shadow or Piercing Light or it's Dawning Shadow.
Dawning Shadow. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a big old boy right there. We do have Withering Wail to heal. So there's that.
Oh, there's that, is there?
That's yeah. It's not going to be enough though because of the atrocity, like you mentioned.
Tryndamere going to poke at the Nexus. Roji going to have to deal with this one way or another. Actually, has the mana to Sejuani Dawning Shadow.
Yeah, and there we go. We have it. Yeah,
the atrocity.
And that's actually exactly what Roji needed. Some sort of Frostbite like that is going to be perfect versus Atrocity. Then we get the kill spell, and now all of a sudden Roji seemingly back in this game, because after this Tryndamere goes bye-bye Boulevard, there's not a whole lot Void has left in the gas tank here.
Yeah, so if we're looking at lethal options for Void...
Wait, did we just...
Okay, never mind. We didn't kill the Tryndamere. We do still have the warning shot.
Okay, I guess if Sejuani's leveled, it doesn't matter. Okay, we're going to bait it out first.
We're actually fine here, but...
Okay, yep. I like this.
Kind of awkward.
Well, I
Void
like this.
Is still in a good spot. I think he still pulls it out, but he does have to deal with this Sejuani and find a window to get the atrocity through.
I mean, this is... Do we think Void plays the atrocity here, though? Like,
There is a visible warning shot.
Oh, it's visible. Okay, I thought that was top deck.
It's got the cool little eye thing on it, so you can tell.
Yeah. Okay, Fortune Croaker.
We still have this Three Sisters, which can get us either A, Fury of the North to get something into Atrocity in range, or Entomb to actually kill the Sejuani. But Void has to find something soon, because at the moment he doesn't have a unit big enough.
Yeah, this is... I mean, we might even... Okay, nope, we're just going to take the damage. I was going to say, any bit of damage that Void takes now is not fun. Avalanche going to start to whittle down this Sejuani. We do have the tools to get rid of it.
You will be able to kill the Sejuani with Withering Wail, double Vile Feast.
Not the greatest.
not like your ideal Sejuani killing. When we're talking about ways to kill Sejuani, you don't really think like, yeah, just 2 Vile Feast, Withering Wail, Avalanche.
3 spells, 4 spells. That's fine. That seems efficient, right? We might even just play the double Vile Feast and then just like attack with the Spiderlings actually, because the Spiderlings actually attacking represent a lot of damage when there's only 4 health
you'll be able to
left.
get some kind of spell out of Roji, probably the Make It Rain.
Oh no, we're just gonna do it. Okay.
Yeah. Of course, Roji does have their own Withering Wail to actually deal with all these Spiderlings, but the Sejuani is dealt with, and that does mean that Void is, once again, just a champion draw away from winning the game with Atrocity, but finds an Avalanche instead.
And, this is good for GrandpaRoji, right? So we have...
Oh, we're just going to Fury of the North Spiderling. There is a Monster Harpoon, and there is an Atrocity, but the stolen Withering Wail will heal Roji outside of the range of this atrocity, which we don't even actually have the mana for.
Wow.
Void just getting potentially a little impatient there, not playing for the out of drawing a champion, and instead using the Fury of the North to just go, hey, you know,
Wait,
you probably don't have Monster Heart.
Hold on. We just put. Oh, never mind. We don't have the mana. I was gonna say Withering Wail was on the stack with the atrocity. No.
Things are. I mean, it's just who draws the next champion really starts to take over this game.
Well, the Mirai Warden is pretty big too. Going wide.
Roji
there
gets
it
a
is.
Gangplank. This won't immediately end the game.
Okay. Make it rain. Yeah, I mean, so the Vile Feast's actually pretty big. It is going to be able to take down one unit, give you a blocker, so Void very much still in this. But I think we are almost dead thanks to Gangplank.
Void is approaching their last turn.
Yeah.
Whatever they top deck here has to be an atrocity target or something to deal with the Gangplank.
Oh, this is so close. I mean, we could top deck a Field of Rush next turn, even. Oh man, so do we Vile Feast? Or no, we could just or does Box or Vile Feast save us more? I guess technically Vile Feast saves us more damage, but Box is probably the best value you're going to get at this point in the game.
Yeah, unless you're expecting, like, your opponent is probably not stringing out multiple units in a turn if they're top decking.
And you could
especially, I think 2 Mirai Warden have already been used.
Oh, okay. I'm actually, we could have also Warning Shotted there, but it looks like Roji's going to save it. And that's going to put us at 4.
Yeah, I think Roji understands that this Gangplank attack is lethal next turn, regardless of whether or not I Warning Shot. It doesn't actually change the damage thresholds that I have to push, and we got a Dreadway versus a Ruination.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. So this, I'm going to... Oh, man, does Roji just play the Dreadway? We played the Dreadway! Why?
Roji played the Dreadway, but we still have a Gangplank, right? Even though we're getting Ruination here, we still have a Gangplank on the side of Roji that can threaten to end the game if Void does not find anything off the top. Yeah. Even if he does, I think the Gangplank, as long as the Gangplank gets to attack, it doesn't even matter if a Field of Rush is drawn from Void to set up blockers. We just need this Gangplank to attack.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure in all cases it can, unless there's like, what, a Vengeance top deck?
You have to make it rain. Make it rain secures it. And we finally draw Trundle.
Wow. Took us a while to draw it, and unfortunately just a little bit too long. And Roji.
To the finals.
Roji.
Over Void.
Roji.
Take a look at the bracket here. See if the other finalist has been determined between Deriva and MTux. They are still playing. Doza, I think it's time for another giveaway.
I think you might be right. Did you say MTux still playing them?
Yeah, that's what it says.
All right, I'm going to start to queue up his game too, just in case. But yes, I do believe it is. Wait, who is MTux playing again?
Deriva.
Okay. Who did you grab?
I grabbed MTux.
Okay. All right.
Oh boy.
All right, here we go. Let's head on in.
Yeah, just wait until you get into this one, folks. Yeah, you seeing that, right? That's the leveled Zoe on both sides. But only MTux has Lee Sin. Does, I believe, give him a significant advantage here. Supernova going to deal the Eyes of the Dragon, Deny in hand for MTux, as well as a myriad of pump spells.
All right, here we go. We're doing another giveaway, ladies and gentlemen, as we finish off the top 4 here. There'll be one more at the end of the finals as well. So, all right, this time, I don't know why. It's the first thing that came to my mind. Put Yabba Dabba Do.
Why are you
in chat?
Yeah, why do you always pick some made-up word that is impossible to spell? I'm telling you, I'm looking at how you spelled Yabba Dabba Doo. That is not how I would have spelled it.
Oh, what? Come on. Are you kidding me?
I would have only put 1-0.
What? Okay, that's fair. 1-0 is fair. But, as we've seen, apparently it doesn't matter if the spelling's wrong. I can just make them eligible. There's a side competition for whoever is able to input the word correctly into chat. You get, I don't know, a pat on the back or a gold star from me. So
yeah, someone in chat put a U. This is not an easy word to spell.
Wait,
it's 2 O's, everybody. 2 O's at the end of do for some reason.
I mean, they still got entered, so looking at all the ways that people are attempting to spell yabba dabba do is so funny.
Meanwhile, as some nice little ambiance, we will watch MTux kick a Dragonling or an Eye of the Dragon into the Nexus for lethal. Let me check the hand here to see if this is even a win. I can't actually check the hand because you are sticking me on the giveaway page. So I don't know what Deriva's hand is.
People that are like yibbity dabbity do.
2 deny in the hand of Deriva does mean this game might go on for just a smidge longer.
Oh man, Lee Sin doing so well here.
Oh man, when was the last time you saw 3 denies on the stack at the same time?
Oh, very low. Since Karma Ezreal. Karma Ezreal is definitely the last
It has
time.
been so long since I have seen someone deny a deny that is denying a deny. Brings back memories.
I swear I understood what you just said. Alright, let's go ahead. I'm going to assume... Actually, I'm not going to assume anything. I have zero clue what the score is to this game. Just going to throw that one out there.
Yeah, they're only 35 minutes... Or 15 minutes in, rather. Yeah. This could very well be game 1.
Alright. And actually, I think this is the first time we're seeing a Lee Sin mirror today.
Yeah. Lucky us.
Yeah, lucky us. The new spooky Karma mirror is the Lee Sin mirror. It's great.
Another Zoe off the top for Deriva, who is looking pretty down and out of this game. Even if they found a Lee Sin, I don't think they have the mana to play all 5 of their pump spell or all 4 of their pump spells onto it to actually push through lethal.
Yeah, just a whole lot of protection in hand with the Bastion and double Noblify and a lot of nothing.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem for MTux to pick this up next turn, especially since Deriva has already spent 2 denies. Mm-hmm. Everything is elusive, so the Zoe doesn't even get to connect with the Nexus.
Yeah.
Did you put 2 B's in Dabba?
I'm just to remind everybody, put yabba dabba do in chat. If you think you spelled it wrong, which I'll tell you right now, pretty much everybody spelled it differently than I spelled it. Just put it in chat again, and I swear one of them will get you entered. Oh my god. It's like look at nobody has a dot next to their name, which basically means everybody that's entered so far did not enter it how I entered it.
I didn't know that's what the dot meant. I don't know why you like torturing our viewers. You have to jump through hoops here if Doza's running the giveaway. I'm like, yeah, just put Scion in chat, and he's like, no, put in the Declaration of Independence.
We'll do an easy last one. Yeah. The last one will be like a full
one's gonna be 4-score and 7 years ago.
And that's gonna be lethal for MTux taking the game versus Deriva there, which I imagine is game 1, but
no way it's not game 1, right there. There's no way game 1 finished in like 5 minutes and then you spent 10 minutes leveling Zoes each other in a mirror.
All right, well, while we're waiting for them to queue up, again, yabba dabba do and oh, hey, okay, we got 2 people that got it. We got 2 people that got the same spelling as I had.
Only 2.
Yeah, which was Justin Cidermouth and random. Of course it was random. Oh man. Okay, let me.
Did you put 2 B's in Yabba?
Yeah.
You don't even.
Hold on. Let me enable.
I hate you so much.
Let me enable everybody that entered. Hold on.
You have to manually enter every. Oh my god! Why are they even typing in chat if you have to manually enter everybody?
Well, their name has to at least show up. All right. All right. Here we go. We're gonna roll it. All right, and congratulations, Card Gamer LoR. 500 coins coming your way. Hit me up with a DM. Throw in there your account tag with your Riot account ID with your hashtag, email associated with the account, and the region that you are from.
Okay, I was about to ask, did we ever check to see if these were America's only?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, good.
That's why they're asking for the region.
Gotcha.
All regions are treated equally here. Well, actually, not really, because if you're not in an account, you
not
couldn't
all
enter
of
the
them.
tournament.
Only Americans can enter the tournament.
Yeah, but otherwise, they're all treated equally.
But that's not on us.
Yeah, it's not our fault. Blame Riot.
Zoe grabbed off of this written in star is going to get a nice little buff up to a 3-3. Now, Lee Sin versus FTR. This is a matchup as old as time. We've seen this one pretty much since the release of FTR because, I mean, Lee Sin never really went away. He's just been a strong deck since the inception. Now, way back in the day, there was a time when FTR was favored. The Trundles and Tryndamirs and Atrocities were actually just a little bit too much for Lee Sin to handle because you only have so many denies, and sometimes a Tryndamir just comes down on curve and claps you. But that was a long time ago. The builds look wildly different now than they did back then, to the point where I don't actually know who is favored, and I don't think I could even check stats on it because I don't think you're seeing this matchup on ladder too often.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is a matchup I have not seen in a very long time. But what I'll also say is this is a very aggressive start from Deriva. And right now, it's looking like Lee Sin is favored. I think the way that Deriva's piloting this right now is great. You know, obviously, you're not always going to get Lee Sin this early, but having Zoe on the field, buffed up, going to feel nice.
That was such a timely deny pickup for Deriva right off the top as the Ruination comes down.
Wow. And all right, we're gonna make him feel a little better by seeing if MTux catches on to deny being the top deck there.
Is Deriva just going to let this go?
What?
So Deriva just eats the Ruination. Right, I guess Deny is being hard saved for Feel the Rush.
Okay. But why when you could just... We were at a point where we could have possibly ended the game in the next couple attack turns.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
I think so. We were 3 wide. We had a Lee Sin on board. I mean, not to we could have leveled the Lee Sin pretty early. I mean, that was questionable. I'm not crazy about that.
That was definitely questionable, but it's not strictly wrong. It's questionable.
It's heavily questionable. Well, Solari Priestess going to grab Written in the Stars, so we're going to get another Lee Sin anyways. Doesn't matter.
I'm trying to figure out Deriva's reasoning here, because leveled Lee Sin actually means nothing if your opponent doesn't play a unit, right? You don't actually get double damage on the kick.
Yeah.
So as long as they're just not playing units, you actually don't get anything out of that.
And we got a Zoe instead of a Lee Sin, too.
Yeah. So what is that? 1 Zoe, 1 Lee Sin down?
2 Zoe. Well, that's the second Zoe.
Now it's 2 Zoe, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But I gotta say, I probably would have denied that Ruination.
Yeah, I would have too.
That's about as much information as I can give you onto the insights into that one as I would have done it.
Well, we got some more damage coming in. Let's see if...
we got no damage coming in. Look at this box.
Yep.
Do we have a Pale Cascade? Nope. It's going to have to be a Twin Discipline if we want to save the Zoe.
Which I don't hate. I think especially now that you let that...
You kind of have to, right?
Yeah, you have to.
You're down the lead. If you lose this Zoe, you're really just down to Eye of the Dragon, which is a card that's not doing as much in this matchup as it does in others. Zoe really is the thing that you're going to be looking towards for like card generation, because your hand is pretty stale at this point. You kind of need these super cool star charts to try and find messengers.
Yeah, and I do think you need to pressure a little bit, right? I mean, Deriva has a good late game if we get Lee Sin and all that good stuff. So yeah, we do need to stall to that point. But if you wait too long and allow MTux to draw multiple Field of Rush and get through your deny and stuff like that, like ultimately MTux I do think will have the stronger board. So I think Deriva has to start to pressure here. We got the super cool star chart. We get an Equinox now. All right. And Deep Med also going to thin the deck, get us closer to another Lee Sin. I mean, maybe that's the thought. Maybe the thought here, okay, behind not denying that original Ruination is I only use deny on Field of Rush, which, okay, I'm sure anybody could have guessed that. But if I do that, my opponent's never going to pressure lethal. So as long as I just sit on my hand and assemble kind of the pieces of Exodia here with Lee Sin, Bastion, Deny, and then like Sonic Wave for the game, then there's like no possible way that MTux could win. And maybe that's the route that Deriva's going.
So I agree. That's definitely the route they're going. I don't know how viable of a route it is.
I guess we'll see.
We will find out. This is going to be... This is there's something to learn from this game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. See if this is the right way to play this matchup. A lot has been invested into this Zoe as well. That's 2 twin disciplines. That's a second deny. So I'm pretty sure we're never going to see Feel the Rush this game.
Yeah, so this Zoe's still only at 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 10, now 4 out of 10 with the Zenith Blade, just because we've played the same cards so many times while she's been around. But this does take her out of Icequake range.
Yeah. Yeah, Icequake off the top there.
But it does make her the biggest target for this Ice Pillar. I wanted to look at Deriva's hand, but it disappeared because of the level up animation. But there was like a Will of Ionia or a concussive palm. Yeah, there's a concussive palm to save the Zoe from the Trundle. So unlikely that this champion is going to... Oh, actually, we're just going to Equinox it.
Yeah, I knew the second I saw the pillar come down, because obviously Deriva knew there was the pillar.
Yeah.
Equinox makes a lot of sense there, and we're just really going in hardcore on this Zoe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Zoe's the win con that you go for rather than Lee Sin, which is a lot easier when she's buffed up by Written Stars instead of being a 1/1.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and then eventually, right, she gets us Great Beyond. She gets us, our own finishers that can go toe-to-toe with Trundle and Tryndamere. So, yeah, I mean, I don't hate this from Deriva. I still think the deny was a little bit questionable, but...
Well, I mean, now Deriva's got 2 deny. M-Tux, as you had mentioned, pretty far from winning the game. No Feel the Rushes are resolving anytime soon. Atrocity not going to resolve anytime soon. We have the concussive palm to deal with at least the first Trundle attack.
Yep.
The silence on the pillar, our Zoe's not going anywhere. The Zoe is very likely to level unless M-Tux can find the proper removal spell. It looks like he might actually try to take it out with the Bladed Ravine plus Icequake combination. But Deriva's hand is basically just save Zoe right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any world in which Zoe doesn't survive anything that M-Tux does at this point. We have the Bastion. We do have Gifts from Beyond even to like technically heal her by putting a buff on her at some point. Right now, though, this is a lot of damage coming through. Not sure why I guess we want to make
attacking with the silent pillar is something that you do to free up board space and also just kind of get it off the field, because that's a prime Lee Sin target that you're going to have a tough time dealing with if you're M-Tux.
Yeah, and board space does come into play with Feel the Rush. We've seen that happen before. Another Solari Priestess off the top. So going to be a lot of Celestial generation, and Zoe I do think is now getting towards the point of leveling up, possibly next turn. In which case, that's going to be a problem for M-Tux. Yeah.
Crescendo's going to be 8 out of 10. So if Deriva wants to force it, he can level the Zoe this turn. But if Deriva does tap below Deny Mana, M-Tux has lethal with Fury of the North Atrocity. So Deriva can't totally tap out this turn. And you don't really care about leveling the Zoe right here, right now, right? You can wait a turn.
No, there is literally... I mean, listen, it was questionable not playing the Deny the Ruination. It is inherently wrong to not keep open Deny Mana for the rest of the game. You have 2 denies in your hand. You are literally never going under 4 mana.
Yeah, you don't sit here, look at that Ruination in the eye, say, I'm not scared of you. I only feel Fear the Rush, and then your opponent's sitting on 13 and you go, what? Tap out. That's not a thing that happens here at high-level Runeterra, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if that happens in Iron.
I don't think it happens ever, yeah. That's just not a thing.
It might happen in the tutorial. You've never played a card game before.
Well, there she is. Leveled Zoe at 4 health now. So Vile Feast not going to do it. It'd have to be the Icequake, and that's a big commitment. And we can even save it from that, too, so...
Deriva's played, what, 3 Written Stars this game?
I think so, yeah. We finally get the Lee Sin, at least. Do we flash? No. I mean, I you know what? Honestly...
There was no hand space to make a 0-mana Behold the Infinite.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Now you definitely don't flash freeze if you don't have the hand space, but I don't think what I was going to get at is I don't think there's any combination of cards now that gets M-Tux a win. Not with Lee Sin also being in the hand. I mean, we can see you can pretty freely get Lee Sin down. I mean, unless M-Tux wants the Atrocity to Trundle into the Lee Sin, but like, okay, sure. Great, thanks. Go for it.
Oh man, M-Tux just not drawing the right champions. What he needs is a secondary threat in the Tryndamere. It wouldn't win the game this turn because there is the Crescent Strike. We've got Conk Palm for 1 threat. We've got Crescent Strike for 2 threats. But we really just need to start getting the resources out of Deriva's hand. But ultimately, this Lee Sin's coming down right here, right now, or at least soon on the following turn, perhaps going to try to threaten lethal. That's where the Flash Freeze is going to come in. And from there, we try to see if M-Tux has baited enough resources out of Deriva's hand in order to close out this game. But things are looking really good for Deriva.
Yeah, I mean, At this point, I'm thinking Lee Sin does close things out. I'm not even sure you care about saving Zoe after you see this Ice Quake. I mean, because we could save Zoe yet again with, I mean, a multitude of different things. We have Twin Disciplines. We're finally going to use it tonight. This does seem a little weird to me.
I think at this point you have the Lee Sin next turn, so you're saying,
I guess.
I just need to deny the kill spell onto Lee. There's no universe where like I deny the kill spell, they don't win, and then I still have to deal with the Field Rush a little bit later on. On top of the fact that you just killed a Trundle. So
Well,
if the Field Rush is drawn, there's only one Trundle left.
And Lee Sin, I think, comes down here 100% like
yeah,
safe,
thanks to that
right?
cost reduction.
Yeah, so and there's nothing at 5 mana that MTux can do about this Lee Sin this turn. So now we're just going to have full 10 mana next turn. We have Bastion plus Deny plus Twin Disciplines, and I'm pretty sure that's just lethal right there. So yeah, this is going to be game, it looks like, for Deriva, which means, I think, because we did get into this technically late, this would be a game 3 we're going into, but we'll see for sure in just a second. Actually, it doesn't have Overwhelm yet. So we can't Bastion and Deny. We have to do this, and then... Oh, no, we don't need Twin Disciplines. But we still can't Bastion or Deny together, so... I guess you just kind of go in for the attack and save both of them. Atrocity off the top is just one off. Still have the Deny on backup, though, so I think just about all the avenues here shored up on the side of Deriva.
Yeah, actually, so funny enough, if Deriva goes for Bastion, MTux wins.
Yeah, because of the Atrocity, but
Fury
the Flash
Atrocity,
Freeze.
but instead,
yep,
gonna proactively Flash Freeze before the Bastion can come down.
Yep. So, I mean, this delays it. And actually, I mean, maybe there's a world now where MTux sneaks through the Atrocity with either the Tryndamere or the Trundle being enough damage for lethal.
Well, the Trundle's going to go back to the hand, so we're only going to get one unit down this turn. And I think you need both of them down for the open attack to have a chance here because of that Crescent Strike still waiting in Deriva's hand.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that this is resetting the Trundle's attack power, so again, we do not have a lethal Atrocity target.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. The Trundle going back. If the Trundle wasn't returned to hand, we'd be fine, but...
Still looking really good for Deriva here. I'm trying to think if there's anything that MTux can draw to get them out of this. Nothing is coming to mind.
1, 2. That's only going to bring Trundle up to
8,
7, 8, and then even if we drew another one, that's 9. It's not looking hot for MTux. And now we're just going to have plenty of mana to protect Lee Sin. I mean, this turn was a little because, like I mentioned, we didn't have enough for Bastion and Deny, but now we pretty much have everything at our disposal.
And now with the entire board gaining lifesteal.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't theorize the perfect top deck. It wasn't Avarosan Sentry.
No, that definitely. And Will of Ionia is pretty damn good too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Oh, and hey, look, now we have a 5-wide board and a Scourge in hand. So, we have about 8 different ways to win the game now on the side of Deriva.
This is game 2, right?
I think, but we are not 100% positive.
So I'm under the assumption that the Lee Sin Mirror was game 1. I'm just trying to remember if there was a game in between that one and this one.
No. That was the only game that we saw.
Yeah, so we will be going to a game 3 here then.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about the Ice Quake. Funny enough, if this gets denied, then that is actually every Trundle dead, and Field of Rush is significantly less of a threat when it's only summoning a 10/10 Tryndamere. But MTux doing what he has to do. Gonna surrender, save a little bit of time on the clock to get us into game number 3 here. Did you ever fire off that last giveaway? You did, right?
Yeah, it was card.
Okay. I just wanted to make.
Yeah.
Like I said, this set has apparently just lost me into the void.
All right, so that's going to be Deriva. We'll see in a second if we are going to get a game 3 here. Yep, going to get a game 3. All right, love to see it. Let's see what the mulligans are look like and see who gets to have a stab at the finals here. All right, so now we're going to get Plunder. Who would have guessed it? Versus Field of Rush, which we've seen this a couple times today. And if we decided for 100% certainty who has the advantage here, is it still going to be Field of Rush, or what do we... I feel like it's gone both ways whenever we see this matchup.
It's supposed to be Field of Rush favored, but we've seen Plunder players get those hands that don't falter to Avalanche or Blighted Ravine, and that's where things get really difficult for the Plunder player, or for the Field of Rush player, rather. This hand from Deriva is nothing amazing. It's certainly not bad, but it's not incredible. I would give the advantage to MTux here.
All right, Mariah Warden coming down, and Deriva, advantage might be MTux, but Deriva right now has a pretty wide field. And we do have Blighted Ravine, so at some point, MTux going to be able to get the Blighted Ravine down, probably have a pretty wide sweep of the field. Especially, I mean, all right, I was going to say, if we also start developing more units on the side of Deriva, I think that's going to be a huge swing with the Blighted Ravine, but we're just going to go ahead, take this attack, punch through the 4 damage, and we are going to get the Black Market Merchant down, which I imagine means Blighted Ravine comes down.
So,
ooh, that's rough.
What we're looking towards here in terms of endgame, if Deriva can level that Sejuani, that's not something MTux has a perfect answer for right now. The way that MTux would have to get around this is by feeling the rush and then hanging on to Tryndamere's Battle Fury as a post-Sejuani freeze attack boost. The awkward part, of course, being that you cannot Atrocity and Battle Fury in the same turn. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I think
but,
if
those
memory,
are sort of the points that we're looking towards.
If memory serves me, last time, or one of the times we saw this matchup, I think it was actually the leveled Sejuani that allowed the Plunder player to win.
Yep.
And I do think that is kind of the thing to keep an eye on during this game. So we'll see if she comes down just in time to kind of deal with that field rush. And, I mean, we got a plethora of big ol' units in hand on the side of MTux. We got a Trundle, a Ladros, and a Tryndamere all able to come down once we start hitting the later turns. So Sejuani is almost a necessity at this point.
Yeah, and there's a few activators in Deriva's hand for her as well. Assuming that we can sort of organically rack up the Plunder procs, then we'll have the Warning Shot from this Yordle Grifter. We'll have the Make It Rain, which will be very likely to touch the Nexus. Just tickle it a little bit to get that Frostbite off.
Yeah, good flash freeze there.
MTux drew Vengeance, and sometimes it's that simple. All we have to do is kill this Sejuani.
Yeah. And one of the reasons why this deck is favored, right? Because like the one way that we kind of see Deriva winning this is with the leveled Sejuani, but MTux has so many answers for it.
A Catalyst here enables
Feel the rush
FTR on the next turn. Yeah. But we're just going to Trundle instead, play for the board. Playing the Catalyst is pretty awkward because your opponent then has 7 mana to just play whatever they want. Because, again, if you Catalyst and then your opponent develops and you're like, oh crap, I have to play my Trundle, then you're not feeling the rush next turn, right? Because you're only at 0 spell mana, you're up to 9, it doesn't really matter. So I definitely don't mind the Trundle. There are some big punishes for trying to go for the Catalyst into FTR on going into your opponent's attack turn.
Yeah, it's kind of, the later in the game you get, the harder it is to play Catalyst. It's really something you want towards the beginning of the game. But Trundle coming down, still very, very good here. I mean, it acts as a perfect blocker. Blighted Ravine, the nabbed one, coming down for Deriva.
Did not expect the Blighted Ravine.
No, not this turn anyways.
It doesn't, because the countdown goes off at the start of the turn, that's going to be a Plunder proc on Deriva's attack turn. This does make it awkward for the Trundle to block if Deriva goes for an open attack. This is a pretty weak open attack.
Yeah, so we are going to develop the Sejuani. This might just prompt MTux to play this Vengeance. If we do play the Vengeance on Sejuani, and this is kind of the extent of Deriva's turn, I think this works out very well for MTux because, I mean, yeah, we are going to be on turn 9 next turn with the attack token. That is going to be Field of Rush. Not to mention, it's a Field of Rush following a leveled Trundle, which is, I mean, that's really when you want Field of Rush to go off. So I think this all works perfectly for MTux. I don't think Deriva comes back from this.
Ooh, yeah, and because it is... So the one concern would have been if one of the 3 attack units dragged the Trundle, and Deriva was going to finish it off with the Make It Rain, then you sort of want to Vile Feast to protect the Trundle, but if you Vile Feast and Vengeance, you won't have FTR mana next turn. But because Sejuani pulls it, the Vengeance lines up perfectly. Trundle is going to be saved into the next turn. Field of Rush is going to come down. And unless Deriva top decks a Sejuani, which apparently he is extremely good at doing...
Wow. All right. What a timely top deck for Deriva. That's going to allow Deriva to frostbite everything. This is a huge field from MTux that is just completely negated by Sejuani. That's why Sejuani level 2 is so strong. Whew.
The bad news for Deriva is that MTux does have their own Ruination,
Yep.
which I don't think they are going to be too upset about just throwing out there to deal with Sejuani number 2 sometime in the near future. You can also just run your opponent out of Frostbites. The thing about Field Rush coming down, and especially these Trundles having regen, is that if Deriva wants to attack, the units are not dying. You are not even whittling away at their life totals because they're just going to regen it back up at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Eventually, Deriva is going to run out of activators for the Sejuani, and MTux is going to get through an attack.
Yeah.
And Deriva is not outpacing that.
It's exactly why we see just this Trundle come in to try to threaten the Yordle Grifter here. We know that we can force that activator out, and we got Deriva to do that, so then we're just going to slowly bide our time. Yeah, I don't think we need to force the Ruination. I think what you had mentioned, Boulevard, is probably the safer route here, because we're not really scared of anything at this point from Deriva. We have so many cards in hand. We have so many more tools than Deriva has. Even a Gangplank coming down, I mean, we're not really scared much. And if Gangplank comes down, then we consider something like Ruination. I mean, that seems... Killing a Gangplank, a Dreadway, and a Sejuani, even though you're deleting your whole board, I think you're okay with because you have another Tryndamere and a Ladros in hand. So,
well, the Three Sisters top deck I think actually does secure the game for MTux here. Being able to entomb that Sejuani so that she is not on the board for MTux's open attack should be all it takes to end this one.
Yeah. This is why, man, we've seen Three Sisters ever since this card has come out. We've seen a lot of games where all versions, Flash Freeze, Fury of the North, and Entomb, they all are very, very playable in various situations. And they all come in clutch, whether it's closing out games, saving a unit, prolonging your life by Flash Freezing something. It's just such a great flexible card. And yeah, there it is. There's the Entomb on the Sejuani.
Yeah, Fury of the North is one of the most interesting cards in all of Runeterra to me, because for those of you that don't know, it used to be +4/+4, and it was main decked.
Yeah.
It was played in a lot of different decks. Elusives, I believe, played it at the time.
Yep.
The Plunder decks at the time.
Demacia, Freljord,
were playing 10 misses on Yordle Grifter because it gave you the warning shot anyway, so they would main deck Sejuani and Fury of the North. It might not have even been Sejuani decks at the time, but anyway, yeah, Fury was mained across the board.
Mid-range Frostbite.
And then it fell off really hard. Yeah, mid-range Frostbite played it. And now as a 3/4, it's seeing play in the Sejuani level, or rather the secondary Sejuani in hand. It's seeing play out of Three Sisters. And it never really... There were a lot of times I felt like it could have gone back to a +4/+4. And now I am very glad that it did not, because it sees so much play despite never being main decked.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, too, that just one attack is such a big difference in the card's playability. Because I still think +3/+4 is a great card at burst speed. But it's not 4/4. it's just not 4/4. So, yeah, Jesus, you really wanted that to go back? Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
nope.
the card just fell off so hard it became unplayable.
It did. But here we go. A lot of overwhelm coming through, and no Sejuani to save the day.
Yeah.
And that's going to spell the end here for Deriva's Mobalytics OLS 35 run. Which means MTux is going to be advancing.
MTux versus Void in the finals.
Nice. Seen a lot of both names in plenty of tournaments over the last year or so, if not longer. So good to see them both here. Very curious to see who's going to be able to pick up the win. I love Void too. It's always good seeing Void pick up some W's. Team OTK. All right.
I was curious how long you were going to continue that.